What's going on, everybody? It's time for a review of Fantastic Beasts Secrets, The Secrets of Dumbledore. Oh boy. Here we go. It was released by Warner Brothers April 15th, 2012, or 2022. And it was directed by David Yates, who did the first Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and then also did the second one, Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, and now he's doing this one. He also done Harry Potter, in the Order of the Phoenix, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2, so he did all the shitty Harry Potter movies, so yeah. Anyways, he also did like The Legend of Tarzan and The Girl in the Cafe. So yeah. But Fantastic Beasts, Secrets of Dumbledore. Well, where to start with this one? You only see Dumbledore a little bit in this. It was pretty disappointing. I don't know why they put the name on there. I think it's just to sell it. But yeah. So you have your main character from the Fantastic Beasts trilogy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the zoologist dude who looks at it. So I remember liking the first Fantastic Beasts because there's so many creatures to discover and stuff. And then the second one has some cool mystery clue story. This one was terrible. Like, I watched a lot of bad movies recently. This is probably one of the worst ones. There's the character. I'm not even gonna tell you the story because there's barely any story. It's basically the guy from the first two gets called upon to help with some election thing, and some guy who killed a legendary creature thing, and and basically is lying to the people. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Anyways, they go and try to set the truth in Germany. Yeah. And they bring along a muggle who apparently knows a thing or two, and they ragtag team of people go and try to stop this guy, and using magic and other things, and that's the best way to describe it. But holy cow, was this a snooze fest? Jesus, the characters are the acting was pretty wooden for high budget magnitude film like this. Basically this was just catering to the fanfare of Harry Potter fans, because of course in the trailer you see the Hogwarts castle, and I thought it was so funny when they go there, because they go into the Hogwarts castle and everything's like half the size as it is in the Harry Potter movies. So yeah, that was odd. But then they're like, at least in the first two, there's a lot of cool stuff to see like going on. This was just dull, dumb stuff. Like one of the bad guys gets thrown into a wall and looks like a painting but moving. They play a trick with these suitcases where one's filled with bread and it keeps coming out, and a couple other things like books or something fly out of one of them and stuff like that. And the snitch flies around and weird things like that. But they have very little beast. They kind of just threw in a couple here and there every now and then to please the audience, I guess. Because they did have a cool one where this flying little bird takes a deep breath and turns into this big dragon. You see it for like 10 seconds, and I thought that was really cool. But then you go back to the boring, dull, random adventure story, I guess. And it's just wasn't good. The acting was wooden as hell, but most non-lifelike acting I've seen in a big budget movie in a long time. No story, barely any story. There's some childish humor that was amusing, but the rest of it was terrible. And overall, I just didn't like this movie. I like most Harry Potter movies and the Fantastic Beasts films. First two were okay, but this one, holy man, it was a drag. It felt like it was 5 hours long, but it was actually like 2. and it could have been chopped in half and still probably would have dragged. Yeah, there's just nothing to it. There's barely any beasts, barely any magic, and just the most basic plot to build upon to do it. Like, if this is what modern movies are going to be like, I'm so glad I just stay home and look back at like the 80s, 90s and find all the random movies to watch and talk about those, because I find a lot of these modern movies are just so basic and bare and non-life into it that they're just not appealing at all, and I stay away from them. That's why I don't do these very often. And this is just another one that puts that nail in the coffin. But for now, yeah, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them was terrible. There's some cool looking creatures, some the odd amusing scene or two, but yeah, the rest of it was just awful. So I'm gonna give Fantastic Beasts The Secrets of Dumbledore, which there was barely any secrets of Dumbledore in the first place. I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 5. Only because it has some cool, when you see the creatures, it's pretty cool, and when, yeah, but other than that, the rest of it was pretty terrible, so, yeah. But if you haven't seen it yet, or if it sounds like something you're interested in, I'll link the trailer down below, but it'll fool you. It's not good. So, yeah, and they show you pretty much everything in it anyway, so just watch the trailer. And, yeah, but also link down below is my Instagram, so I always post clips of films I'm going to review in the future. All my stories have the film title hashtag and some genre film hashtag, so you're aware of it. And 99% of them are way better than this one. And also my Letterbox is down below. That's where I post my first diary after watching the films. So follow me on one of those two platforms to stay in the loop with this channel. Like this video, share it so more people are aware of it, so you don't have to live through the terrible dread of this movie, and so then the studio doesn't get very much more money out of our pockets to make another terrible film like this. And yeah, so yeah, so yeah, share it, and make sure you subscribe, because hopefully we'll find something weird, obscure, and odd and you probably never thought of checking out together. Or so you hear my opinions on classic films and popular films, somewhat like this, I guess, and other things. So, yeah, and yeah, make sure you ring that bell, because we're going back to the indie micro-budget horror films when we come back. So, yeah. So, yeah, make sure you ring that bell, and I guess I'll see you all in the next review, which I'm pretty sure, like, the micro budget with terrible acting and no special effects and stuff is going to be better than this one. So we'll see about that, but make sure you tune in. So make sure you subscribe, ring that bell, and watch out for all those crazy beasts and wizards who don't use their magic out there. And I guess I'll see you all in the next video. So until then, cheers.